Good morning, class. My name is Miss Sanchez, and today we are learning how to change base 5 to base 10. Okay. We're going to start off by going over the definitions so we're more familiar with the lesson we're going over today. So I advise you to take out your math notebooks so you can write these down and go back to them whenever you need them. Okay. The first term we're going to be learning is base 10. Now, this is the base system we use in everyday life to count things. So it has 10 digits from 0 to 9. The next word we're going to learn is base 5. And then this is a different base system. It only has 5 digits, 0 to 4. And it has a notation that looks like this. And what we see here is the little 5. It's called a subscript, and it tells us what base we are using. So we are only using base 5 today. So notice how base 10 doesn't have a subscript like base 5 does. Now, base raised to a power. We need to use a math symbol that we're not familiar with yet. It's called a power, or also known as exponent, and it works like this. So we have a 5 power 3. The big number, which is our base number, 5, and 3 is the small number, or our power. Now, we see 5 power 3 here, and this is how we end up solving it. What it basically means is 5 times 5 times 5. So it's 5 times 5 times 5, because we have that little power 3, and that's what it means right here. So can anybody give me the answer of what this 5 times 5 times 5 is? Yes, correct. Thank you. So 5 times 5 times 5 equals 125. Conversion table for base 5 to base 10. Now, this is going to be a table we're going to use frequently today. It's going to help us do our calculations for the problems. Okay, for the first row, it's power, or base power. And we're just going to be writing the base 5 today. And that's already going to be filled in here. Now, the second row is the place value for each column. And the third row is the digits from the problem you are solving. And then the last row is our place value times our digits. So second row times third row will equal our fourth row. Next, we'll go over some math steps that will tell you how to do each problem step by step while I'll work on some examples for you. Then I'm going to hand out a worksheet for you to do some on your own. Now feel free to raise your hand if you have any questions along the way. Okay, so our math steps are: 1. Write powers on each of the 5s, numbering them backwards. So starting from the right hand side with 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. 2. Calculate the value of each power exponent and write it underneath in row 2. So right here. 3. Write down the digits from the problem underneath in row 3. Use the right hand box as the ones place. 4. Multiply the numbers in row 2 and 3 by column and write them in the box underneath in row 4. 5. Add up the numbers in the bottom row. And then 6. Write the answer in the space right here. Alright, our first example problem is convert this number from base 5 to base 10. And our number today is 1,231 subscript 5. So we're going to go ahead and fill in the top row right here by adding our power on the top here. So in our math steps, it says write from right hand, or go from right to left, and we're going to start with 1 and then go on from there. So 5 power 0, power 1, power 2, and power 3. Okay. Now in the second row, we're going to find out the answer for the top one and write it below it. So 5 power 0 is 1, 5 power 1 is 5, 5 power 2 is 25, 5 power 3 is 125. And remember that we're getting these answers by the power here, and that basically means 5 power 2 is just 5 times 5, twice. 5 power 3 is 5 times 5 times 5, which is 3 times. Now we're going to go ahead and fill in our third row right here, and that's basically taking apart the number we're working with today. So 1, 2, 3, 1. We're going to go ahead and write that out here. So 1, 2, 3, and 1. We're going to move on to the fourth box right here. Now what we're going to do here is we are figuring out what the second row times the third row is. So second row times third row will equal our fourth row. So we'll go ahead and start with this side. So 1 times 1 equals 1. 5 times 3, 15. 25 times 2, 50. And then 125 times 1 is 125. Alright, now that we have our whole chart filled in, we're going to go ahead and write everything down here at the bottom to get our answer. So we'll go ahead and write down, we're going to add everything to get our answer, by the way. So 125 plus 50 plus 15 plus 1. So 125 plus 50 plus 15 plus 1 equals, yes, correct, equals 191. Now, to officially finish this, we're going to write that in our answer space right above here. So 1,231 subscript 5 equals 191. Okay, now that we have this one done, let's move on to the next one. Remember, feel free to ask any questions if you're not getting something, or if I'm going too fast for you. Okay, question number 2. They give us a number of 1,013 subscript 5. So we're going to do the same thing we did with with example 1 to example 2. So we're going to go ahead and fill in at the top. And we're going to do what we did up here for our powers. So 5 power 0, 5 power 1, 5 power 2, and 5 power 3. Okay. Now, it's the same thing as the first problem, so we can just copy what we did here and place it into our second row right here. So 5 power 3, 125, 5 power 2, 25, 5 power 1, 5, and 5 power 0, 1. Okay, but we have a different number compared to 1. So instead of putting this one, because we were dealing with that number up here, we're going to go ahead and use this one and write it in our third row right here. So 2,013. Now that we have the top part, can anybody tell me what we're supposed to do in our fourth row? Yes, correct. We're going to calculate each column. Remember, our second row times our third row will equal our fourth row. So 1 times 3, 3. 5 times 1, 5. 25 times 0, 0. And then 125 times 2, 250. Okay, so now that we have our chart filled in, we're going to go ahead and take our fourth row, add it together, and that'll give us our answer. So 250 plus 0 plus 5 plus 3 equals, does anybody have the answer? There you go, yes, correct. Our answer is 258. And then once we're done here, we're going to go ahead and put it in our answer space above over here. So 258. So 2013 subscript 5 equals 258. Now we're going to move on to our last example problem, and after this I'll go ahead and give you some worksheets. So example problem number 3. our number is 1,342 subscript 5. So we're going to fill in the top row with 5 and then our power number on the top. So 5, remember, we're going to start off with 0. So 5, power 0, 5, power 1, 5, power 2, and 5, power 3. Okay, now from here, again, we're going to solve our number up here and write it here below it. So 5 power 0, 1, 5 power 1, 5, 5 power 2, 25, and then 5 power 3, 125. Okay, now remember row 3, we're going to plug in this number into this row. So 1,342, 1, 3, 4, 2. And then, of course, our last row is, yes, correct. Second row times third row equals fourth row. Okay. 1 times 2, 2. 5 times 4, yes, 5 times 4, 20. 25 times 3, 75. And then 125 times 1, 125. Okay. Again, we have our chart filled out, so now we can solve for our answer here at the bottom, which is adding the bottom row here together. 125 plus 75 plus 20 plus 2. Does anybody have this answer here? Yes, correct. There you go. And our answer, 125 plus 75 plus 20 plus 2 equals 222. And we're going to go ahead and write that here in our answer space. Now we'll work on some practice problems. Get into your groups and work on these for 15 minutes, and I'll go around and check your work. I need 2 volunteers to help pass out papers for me, please. Alright class, 15 minutes are up. We're going to go ahead and work on them together. Can I get 3 volunteers to come put the problems on the board for me? It's 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Alright, practice problem number 1. Our number is 1,004 subscript 5. Alright, correct. We put in our 5 power on the top row, and then what that equals at the bottom row. Y'all plugged in the number here, correct, and then remember second times third equals our fourth, and I see y'all filled it in. So 25 plus 0 plus 0 plus 4 equals 129. That's our answer. Did anybody get anything different? Alright, awesome, we're on the same page. Practice problem number 2. Our number is 2,144 subscript 5. Alright, awesome. I see that y'all filled it in. 5, and then our answer. And then we're going to plug in this number, correct, into our third row. And again, second row times third row equals our fourth row. Alright, awesome. 125 times 2, 250. 25 times 1, 25. 5 times 4, 20. 1 times 4, 4. Then we add the bottom row here, 250, 25, 20, and 4 equals 299. And that is our answer. Did anybody get something different? Okay, awesome. Okay, now we're going to move on to our last practice problem of the day. So I see our number is 3,043 subscript 5, and we got 398. Okay, let's see how we got it. We filled in the top row, second row, correct. And then we plug in this number in our third row. And then our last row, again, second row times third row equals fourth row. We write it here at the bottom. 375 plus 0 plus 20 plus 3, 398. Alright, that's right for me. Did anybody else get something different? Okay, great, awesome. Are there any other questions? Okay, so today we learned how to change base 5 to base 10.